All right, Flavio, it's a pleasure to be here with you. Thank you for taking the time. So I'm here with Flavio Andrade, the President of OceanPact. Can you tell me a little bit about what OceanPact does?
Thank you for inviting me for this interview.
Yeah.
OceanPact is in the environmental protection area in Brazil. So we do oil spill response, basically for the oil and gas industry, ports and shipping industry.
Wow.
So we help ship owners, ports, terminals, and the oil industry to get protected and to respond to real emergencies.
Great.
And we also do environmental monitoring and all kinds of measurements at sea. Geophysics, geotechnical work, metocean, environmental monitoring.
Wow, wonderful. How did you get into that work?
Indeed, I'm a naval architect and marine engineer, and I was working on a shipping company carrying fuel oil, bunkers.
Okay.
And every now and then we had a small spill.
Yeah.
So I started to learn how to deal with the spills.
Oh, wow.
And after that, in year 2000 in Brazil, Petrobras had a big spill, and we worked a lot. And then the owners of that company had the idea of creating an oil spill response company. And I left the company. I was trying to be an entrepreneur in the internet at that time.
Oh, very different.
Yeah, but then they invited me back to run the company.
Okay.
So that's where I learned a lot about oil spills, and I opened my own company on oil spill response.
Great, congratulations.
That's how we started. Thank you.
So you went from Naval Architect, where you kind of got some subject matter expertise just because you had to learn how to deal with it, it sounds like.
Yes.
And then that's really translated to your knowledge in the industry that you're in.
Yes.
That's amazing.
It helped a lot, yes.
How else do you think your time as a naval architect, or even doing the internet company that you were working on, how do you think those skills relate to the work you're doing now?
Yeah, indeed. It's a long story. So
Great.
After working for some years as a naval architect in a shipyard, a big shipyard, I faced one of the big crises of the industry. It's cyclic. No, the ship construction all over the world is a cyclic industry. And
didn't know that.
yeah, and then in one of the big crises, I thought, that's the time to become an entrepreneur. I'm entering the fishing industry because I liked boats, I liked fishing, and I decided to go into lobster fishing and exporting live lobsters to Europe.
Wow.
So it was a big, complicated business. We learned it with a French customer and teached us how to pack the lobsters alive, ship by plane. It was
Wow.
a very difficult thing to do, and we learned it a lot, but never made money doing this.
Was that before or after the naval architect?
No, after.
After,
So,
okay.
Yeah, so I quit the shipyard and I started working in my own company on the fishing industry.
Shipping lobsters, great.
Yes, yes. And after some time, I saw this wasn't working very well. It was very hard indeed. We had an environmental issue. Our environmental agency started allowing the fisheries with nets, and this destroys the lobster habitats, and also the lobster arrives very tired and dies. My business was live lobster, so I couldn't buy lobsters fished by nets, only with cages.
Right.
So that was the last sign I should move again. And then I moved back to that company I told you. I was working on the shipping industry, carrying fuel oil, and that's where I learned oil spill response.
So you've seen firsthand how important environmental issues are to the work that you're doing. So for people who would want to get into the type of work that you do, let's say something kind of in blue economy related, what would you say to them? What would you recommend to them?
We can see, including in this conference we are here, that the ocean is vastly unknown. There's lots of work to be done, and ways of doing these work will change a lot still, I think. So the development of new sensors or of cheap platforms to have these sensors measuring information on the oceans capturing information of the life of the oceans, how to use the resources without depleting them, and the concept of sustainability. You know?
Absolutely.
And there's so much job, so much work to be done that I think it's for those who like, of course, it's a very interesting field and promising.
Great, a lot of opportunity.
Yes, a lot.
There's a lot of water on the world, so a lot of opportunity
Sure.
to get involved.
Sure.
Great. And so for somebody who wants to maybe run a business someday, what would you say to them?
Oh, I would say that if you have an idea, I think the best thing to do is talk to as many people as possible about your idea. So
Yeah.
the concept of the secret idea it's very hard to work.
Yeah.
It's much easier if you talk a lot, if you discuss, you try to listen to other people's opinion. Not that you will behave according to other people's opinions, but you learn, you build your own concept of your idea.
Yeah.
You have more chances to find more people to help you in your idea or come work with you.
Yeah.
Finding a good team is very important. So
Absolutely.
nobody is able to do anything alone. You know?
Yeah, so I'm hearing networking is really important.
Sure.
Surrounding yourself with really smart people.
Yes.
Is there anything else that you would recommend?
Work hard. No.
Work hard.
Work
There's a lot to do.
Work hard, but know that you cannot work more than the maximum. So do the maximum you can.
Yeah.
But and understand your limits.
Yeah,
So,
absolutely.
have a good life and like what you're doing. So I think this is normal
That's great.
sayings, but they do work.
Yeah.
So,
Great. Just kind of to wrap up then, I'd be curious, what do you love most about the work that you do?
yeah, well, on top of protecting the oceans, no, and helping more people to understand the oceans, learn their behavior, learn the mechanisms that are there, the currents, the temperatures, the life, and everything. It's very good to know that we are providing jobs for so many people in Brazil,
Yeah.
as we really need these jobs.
Yeah.
And fortunately, we are working for the oil industry that still is okay and is promising in Brazil. Of course, we understand this should be a transition for cleaner forms of energy.
Yeah.
But I think that using this last round of oil to learn more about the oceans and to develop the next phase and what's next about energy, and for sure, I believe it will come from the ocean, big part of that. So I think it's very good.
And if there is anything that happens, then you know how to clean it up. So.
Oh yeah, no, these we are there for that.
Perfect. That's great. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you very much.
I really appreciate it.
Thank you.